Good morning, everyone. Welcome on in. Come on in and grab a seat. We are glad that you are here with us today, and we are going to start off our Flutter and Flourish event. And so I hope that you will grab your favorite beverage and check out all of our presenters today. So we are going to just have a wonderful time, and our event today is focused on things with wings, and botanicals or botanicals. So I think actually all of our presenters today will be using something with some kind of wings on it, and we've tried to divide it up so we don't have the same thing all day long for you. And so today I've got a fun little interactive card that I'm going to make today. That's a lot of fun, and we're going to use some ladybugs on it. So I hope you like ladybugs. Some people say they don't like, insects, and that's kind of how that goes sometimes, right? Hi Sherry, hi Tammy, welcome on in, you guys. Thanks for being here bright and early with me. I am just going to try to put myself over where I need to go today, right? So we are, all of our people are going to be over in the Crafty Bunch group on Facebook if you want to watch everybody there. So that always makes it easy when you do something like that. Then when you're in something like that, you can just refresh your browser between people. And it's a great way to be able to see everybody. And so for the time being, the replays will be there as well. But we know how that goes, right? we know what goes on there, and that's how it is. So we're not gonna worry or fret about it. We're just gonna do what we need to do and carry on, right? So today we're gonna make a card, and a lot of people, the interactive card that we're making today, a lot of people call it an infinity card. And this card is a little bit different. I previously had made another one that was called, what did they call it? The Never Ending card. But you guys, that one had a lot of parts and pieces to it that you had to put on and know which direction that you were getting it. And this one is a little bit different because it is all just on one piece of paper that we do, and then we are going to cut it down. You need a square of paper. Actually, you could do this in any size you wanted. Obviously the larger your paper is, the easier it is that it's going to be for you to work with your piece of paper. And so because of that, today I am going to be using a 12 by 12 piece of paper is what we're going to use today. And so hopefully that will, make it easy, and we're gonna see. But I think first of all, I'm going to show you just on a regular piece of paper, and I'm going to show you how it goes together so that you can see, and then we'll go forward. And I do have a printable. So since I said that we're doing ladybugs, let me show you the printable that I have made, and there should be a link to it in the description. So we're going to end up with lots of little squares to this. Let me put us down to the right spot here. There we go. So this is so got our Flutter and Flourish event, right? So we got our people coming in. Welcome. Hey, you guys, I'm so glad. Thank you for joining us this morning. And so each of these sheets has got it's got 6 squares that you can use on your card, and then another section if you'd just like to have a section here or there, or maybe you want to cut out some of these and use some squares of this. And then always, like any printable, you can cut out as many as you want. And I do want to show you something else about when you're printing out things. I want to show you. And then I've even made a page of instructions for you. And this, you guys, this is the part that's kind of worth it right there, is a simple reminder. But let me show you first. Here is some, you might be able to tell the colors are a little bit different on these. And any time that you are printing from a home printer, you're going to get color variations depending on the paper. The paper makes a huge difference, you guys, in the way that your things print out. And it just is, this is on an index weight card. So it's not quite as heavy as cardstock, but it is, you know, it's just enough more weight to it that it makes it easy, and it will work for a lot of things. And this is on a this is a 24-pound paper, and it's a very white paper. And that's another thing, that a lot of times your paper, if it's not real white, that's going to give you some real variations in how your color prints as well. And so, but you know, sometimes you just want a certain weight for your project, and so, you know, what are you gonna do? You got to use what you got to use, right? So I'm just going to cut us off an 8-inch square. Well, no, we'll do it 8.5 because it's 8.5 wide. So I'm just going to make us a square, and I'm going to show you exactly how this goes together, and then we'll move on to the real thing. How about that? What you guys been doing today? Yeah, so I'm kicking us off today. We've got a great lineup, and so after me is going to be Lisa from Craft Therapy with Lisa Ahmad, and then we've got Lori, and she is, let me get a couple things out of the way. And so then Lori's page is Lori's Creative Journals, and then we've got Jo. Her page is Rhoda May and Ray Inspired. And then we've got Michelle from My Shell Bell Creations. And then we've got Jeannie from Clifton's Crafty Casa. And then we've got, did I say Jeannie? Yes, I hope so. Jeannie from Clifton's Crafty Casa. And then Christy from Funky Junk Inspiration. And then we've got Jennifer from Then Again Designs by Jen. And then Heidi from Joyful Artistry by Heidi. And so we have got just a whole lineup. So we go from now, and then we'll finish up at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. So we've got a full day of fun for you, you guys. So here's what we do. We take this, and you don't even have, this is one of those projects that everything is going to be even, and if you don't want to measure, you don't have to. Although, you know, depending on your paper, you might want to do that so you can score it and have it bend a little bit, you know, better for you. So you fold it in half, and then you open it, and then you bring this part over to here. You bring the other one over to the center. Fold that. I can already see I've got these, they are not lined up straight. And so this is one of those things that you really want to make sure that your folds are straight. But since this is just, since I'm just showing you, I'm not going to worry about it. And then you do it the other way, and so it's folded the same way on this side. So basically you've got to have equal squares, and you're going to end up with 16 little squares here. You guys, and I tell you what, that other card where you had to use the separate pieces, oh my goodness, it was kind of a lot of work. So this one is kind of fun because it's not that much work. So now then you've got all of these, you've got your 16 squares, you fold it over like this, and then you're just going to take and you're going to cut out. You're going to cut out this section here. Maybe I shouldn't be showing you this. I'm going to give you the whole secret, and then you'll be on your way. No, stay with us. You'll want to see what we end up doing. Don't leave me. Okay. And then this one. So you just got to be able to see where you're, and you know, you can cut it with whatever you want to, right? Cut it with scissors, cut it with a craft knife, whatever you want to do. Okay, so now we've got all these, and this is how it should look. You should have it like this. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your, you're going to add some adhesive. Now I'm going to have to use my cheat sheet here, my directions. And I'm just going to use a little bit of glue stick here. Okay, so now we put some glue in this corner here. And then we fold this down onto this next row. And then we put glue in this corner. We fold it up to the next row like this. Oh my, I can see my cut. That is a terrible cut. Oh my goodness. That is so awful. I don't even know if I can hardly show you. How in the world did that happen? I can't even get it to fold nice because I've got so much hanging off right here. And see, that's what I said. You've got to have it. You have to cut along the score lines. Well, I wonder if the other one is cut too short. Anywho, we'll get it going. Okay, so then this one folds up like this. So now you've got it like this. Now then, the next part, you put glue in this corner. I mean, and you're just looking at this like, how in the world would this even work? I don't know. I have no idea who dreams these things up, you guys. I honestly don't. And then this glue goes in this corner. And that's all there is for, you know, like putting it together. Now then, what happens is now you can, okay, so now here's your card, and now you open it. Wait a second. That's not right. Okay. So now you pull it open like this, and so it just keeps opening. Trust me, it really does. What in the heck? Did I not do that right? Okay, I got another one here somewhere. What did I do? Did I do it wrong? Did I get to blabbing and I did it wrong, you guys? Where's my other one? How embarrassing. How totally embarrassing. Well, I have another one. Well, what did I do here? Let's see. I did decide that if you folded it like okay, there's that one. Okay, no, we got it going right here. So it just keeps opening, and then if you fold it like, if you kind of fold it in half, then it opens. And I think the issue is because so many of these are kind of loose, right? I mean, they're not all glued down together. Okay, and then it just keeps opening. There we go. That was right. And it just keeps on and on and on. So I mean, basically, this is kind of one of those never-ending cards. Whew, I thought I totally messed it up. That was going to be embarrassing. There we go. So there you have it, and that's what we're going to do, and we're going to decorate one. Okay, so let's get going here. And I probably should have would have been wiser to have start trimming edges off of things than to do that. Now I'm going to use this because I know I get pretty decent things. Now what do you think, you guys? Which one do you want me to use? Do you want me to use the red one? The red paper for our card backing? Or do you want me to use the white one? What do you think? This red is a little bit different, but you know, it's pretty much, I think it's gonna go well if we use the red one. So what do you think, the red or the white? I'm gonna wait. I love having some audience participation. So what do you think? Hey Jeanette, hi Carol. Oh, Carol's watching a granddaughter today. She said she'll pop in when she can. Well, we know how that is, right? Okay, Cheryl gave me a red heart. Maybe that means red. Hey, Sherry. Jeanette's here. Everybody's here. The red. Oh, we got some red going on. I think so, too. I think it'd be pretty. I think let's try it. Let's try it. I mean, because when you think of ladybugs, what do you think of? I think we think of red, right? So let's do it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use this to get my best scores. And so basically you're going to score at 3, 6, and 9. This will give me some really nice crisp folds, you guys. So 3, 6, and 9. And then we're going to rotate it around 90 degrees and do it again. Same thing, 3, 6, and 9. Let's see if we can't knock it out here and get going. Oh my goodness. We're already at Oh, what happened? Oh, you guys, sometimes your scoring tool, if you're not careful, it can jump the tracks there. I don't think you can see that. Look, see what happens? Sometimes it can like jump. You got to be careful. Okay, but that's okay because we know the right places to fold it. So, and I didn't let it get too deep when it did that. Okay, so now we just go ahead and do our, well, you know what? I'm going to do the deal where we do all our folds both ways. That way, no matter which way it needs to fold, it's going to have a better chance of doing a good fold, right? So, and you know what? Using this size, now you're going to have to, you would either have to use, I think this is probably going to end up being like a, yeah, it'd be a 6x6 card. And you know, they make 6x6 envelopes, or you can also make an envelope yourself. But I will say, unless you're giving it, you know, in person, those 6x6 cards here in the US, they charge us for an oversize, and then they charge us more for postage. But hey, you know what? If you're making something special for somebody, I mean, is it really that big of a deal? Okay, so here we go. So now we've got all of our places scored, and so now we need to cut out that section. We're cutting out these 4 squares right here, and we'll just cut those. I hope they cut better than that piece, my sample piece. It's kind of concerning. Okay. Oh, you guys, you have no idea how that, you can imagine how I felt when I thought I had completely messed up that one showing you. I'm like, oh no. But you know, I remember, the other one I made was the same way. At first you think, I don't think I did this right. There's something about the way, and because they're not all glued together, you know, you've got so many places that are kind of loose. Let me look at it here. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, so now, again, I must use my cheat sheet. So, this is with that printable. Okay, so we take this one and we put our glue. You know, and I'm going to use, now that I've got some cardstock here, I'm going to use some real glue here and really get it on here. Okay, so this row goes down. So when you're doing something like this, you want something that's going to stick pretty quick, right? And then we put the bottom left. How many of you like little ladybugs? I tell you what, you know what though? You know, there's some variety that is not nice. And they kind of, I mean, they're not, they kind of look the same but different. They're a little bit of a different color. And they're not nice. And they'll kind of pinch you and bite you. Okay. All right. Let me get that folded down. Okay, so now this way, now we put our glue on this corner. And then as you're doing this, you want to make sure that you don't have any of these that as you're folding it over, that they begin to cross over each other. You still want to make sure that you've got, like, all of these are open in between here, because if they're not, they're going to get stuck. They're going to be stuck on each other. Right? And then this one is, wait, did I do the right one? Yes. Boy, I'm really second guessing myself. You know, well, a lot of times, well, you know me. There's no telling what I might glue together, right? Gluing or anything else, and then I'll have to go back and fix it. Hey, if we can make it work with the red one first time, we're gonna be doing great. Oh, Susan says she can't wait to see this one for the ladybugs. Oh, cute. That was your daughter's nickname. The other thing are called lady Asian beetles. Yeah, who knows that? Yeah, so Susan knows something about that. Yeah, those things are not nice. All right. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to let that sit and make sure that that adheres. And let's go ahead and let's cut some of our goodies out here. And so this is what I did, you guys. I gave you one sheet that you could use for different things for different cards. Okay? It's because, you know, it really is a card. But you guys, if you don't send cards or anything, think how fun this would be to tuck into a journal, or you know, that would be super fun. And like I said, you can make them as long as you've got a square. You could make it a little bit smaller, and you could even use this in a smaller size too. You would just have to figure out how big you wanted to you know, cut your squares. You know, because these are all sized just right, I need to probably cut the borders off with my trimmer. And, you know, I haven't figured out yet how to really make sure that when I print something at home on the printer, that I could actually get my whole size that I wanted. Because, you know, you have to print it so they call it, you know, that it's a bleed to the edge or full page or something. And a lot of times that just does not, it's not the equivalent of what you thought the size was going to be, because on my printer anyway, it kind of distorts it, and then it's not the exact same thing. It will make it actually bigger to get it so that it prints clear off of the page. Well, I didn't want it bigger, right? Susan says she loves polka dot. I know, we were talking the other day on one of my lives, and we were talking about how some of us just love those polka dots. In fact, at some point when I finally get around to doing some of my organizing of my loose scrapbook paper, that's going to be one of my categories, is polka dots, because I love them. I love polka dots. And, you know, and then sometimes I think even, you know, some stripes. I love tiny stripes, because I think those are another fun. Well, and I like plaids too. I like a lot of stuff, guys. I like paper. How about that? Should we just say that? And dishes. How many of you are dish people? Do we have any dish people in here? Let's see. So this, now I can kind of see where this is supposed to be right there. Okay, so now I wondered about this. I see that where this needs to go in my trimmer, it's just a hair short of 2 3/4, which that was what I really sized it at, was 2 3/4. So we have a little bit of a border around our images when we put them down. So I wasn't really sure. That's pretty close. Well, I cut that one a little bit too small. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Did I not cut the right thing? Oh no, that's a different daisy. That's cute. I love the other things too. This is a cute one. I like that one. So I'm going to use that one too. You guys, I can hardly wait to see what everybody does for their projects today. This is just going to be so much fun to see what everybody comes up with. And we've got a variety of winged, I'm just going to call them all creatures. I don't know what else to call them. Winged, and I hate to call them things. So I asked everybody to let us know what they would like to do so that we could give you a variety all day long. You know, we had this same theme last year, and I honestly think that we either did bees or butterflies almost all day long until, like, our last presenter did fairies. And I'm just like, oh, I'm not doing that again, you guys. I want us to have some variety for our day. That's what makes it fun, is getting some ideas all day long about some different things, right? That's kind of funny. Okay, let's see. And so I'm streaming to both Facebook and YouTube, you guys. So if you see me, or why do I always say that? If you hear me, you know, commenting to things you don't see, they're probably on the other platform, okay? Although right now I don't have a lot of people that come and watch from, how big is that? That is just, I wish I could tell exactly where it is. But we might have some that are a little bit off. I can't help that. I can't help it. Can't help it. Your mom loved daisies. You know what? Yeah, daisies are, we had a whole bunch of daisies. And, you know, daisies are something that just keep, when you plant them in your area, they just keep getting bigger and bigger. And, you know, they really are a great flower to have, and a perennial. I love perennials because, you know, you can plant them and then every year they're going to come up. You don't have to spend the money again. You don't even have to plant them because there they are. And I just love that about perennials. And my mom loved to be outside, and she loved to, you know, garden and stuff. Oh, Susan. Oh, okay. She's watching on YouTube. Hey there, I think we got somebody else over there too. Thank you. But she loved being outside and doing flowers and stuff. And one year she had things in her flower beds that were blooming almost year round. I mean, and I wondered if she had planned that. And I asked her one time if she, you know, how in the world she had planned that out so well. And she told me she had not planned it. That, you know, when she first had started planting stuff, she had a lot of things that she would, you know, somebody would give her a little start of something, and she had a lot of friends that had, you know, helped her out there. We had moved out. I like to call it a hobby farm. It was, when we moved there, it was like 2.5 acres, and then my dad later, from the same people that he had bought that from, which they were next door to us, and he ended up buying another 4 acres, and we never developed anything on the other 4 acres. We only used it for pasture, and you know, in a good year we'd bale hay out there too, and so or, you know, we'd grow hay and bale it, and, you know, sometimes we'd get maybe if there'd been a lot of rain and stuff, we might get 2 cuttings on it. But usually in that area in Colorado, you're not lucky enough to do that unless you're watering it. And, you know, we used to have an irrigation ditch, and we had somebody, they called it a ditch rider, and he'd come along and he'd make sure that everybody, you know, got their turn and when they could use the water from the ditches and stuff. And so, you know, sometimes then that would help, but in later years, after they quit doing that and we really didn't have access to that ditch water anymore, we usually would only get like 1 cutting on that hay field. But she said that yeah, that she really hadn't planned it, and that, you know, she was lucky to have friends who had helped her get her garden started and stuff. And they would just bloom all year long. And I said, I can't believe that where you planted them and how you did that, you know, without really any planning or knowledge about that, that you ended up with such a fantastic, you know, garden space. And I said, it probably takes people years and planning. And you know, you guys, that is something that is not a skill I have. I have made, in fact, my daughter, who likes to be outside and, you know, play outside and stuff, she's my gardener, and we've laughed several times about how I have just, that is not a skill I have. And I can plan and I can think about it and really hope that it's going to be a beautiful space. And all of my flowers and stuff that are here where we live now in Texas, they were here when we moved here. And we moved here in, I want to say, yeah, October. We moved here in October. And so a lot of the things that I have here that are perennials, they were long gone. And I had no idea. And so the next year when stuff started coming up and blooming, I was so excited. They were so fabulous. We have a lot of peonies here. And oh my gosh, they are so pretty when they start to bloom. But I have learned over the years that as soon as the peonies start blooming, you know what happens? We get a lot of rain, and then they just look terrible. They do not take rain well. The petals on them just look horrid, and I've never been able to bring them in at all, any of them, because they just always have so many bugs that I've heard all kinds of, you know, what people say about dealing with that or what causes them, and, you know, or just ways to deal with it, and I've never really had any luck with that. So I just enjoy them while I'm outside. But the sad thing is, where they're all planted, I don't see them unless I'm, you know, coming or going from home. They're outside my fence in my backyard, and so they're out there where the driveway is. Well, I don't get to see them. And that's the way with a whole bunch of other perennials that I have out there. Right now, I've got a bunch of daylilies that are blooming. And that's the same thing. I was going somewhere one day and I go, well, I didn't even know these were blooming. My husband goes, oh yeah, they started yesterday. I'll tell you what though, I'm going to get some more of those little Stella d'Oro daylilies, because those will bloom all summer. I used to have some of those in Minnesota, so I know they're hardy too. They're hardy to cold, but when I started seeing them down here in Texas, I'm like, oh, I should get some more of those. Okay, you guys, we're ready. You ready to start? Well, I didn't even need to do all of that. Why did I cut all of those sayings out? Well, we'll want at least one, right? Let's put one here. Which one should we use? Oh my goodness. Now we got choices. Now we got the choices, you guys. Let me get this off my desk. Nobody wants to look at all the trash, do they? We don't want all the trash. Oh, really? Susan says peonies are not easy to grow in the beginning. Oh, I did not know that. Yes, a lot of times you can cut and share things with each other. A gal who cuts my hair, she is on to me about me sharing some of my peonies with her. And I go, well, I don't know that this is a good time to do it. And she goes, any time is a good time. I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know. And I kind of don't want to... Now I feel like I'm playing cards. Let's find some ladybugs. Oh, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put these in some piles that are just like flowers or garden, and I'm going to put my ladybugs in a pile. That way I should be able to have at least a nice ladybug or flower on everything, and maybe a garden thing. Oh, how did I get two of those? Oh, they're different. Ah, one has a little heart and one doesn't. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, I'm ready. Alright. Flutter and flourish. Enjoy the little things. You know what? I think I'm going to put this on here because enjoy the little things. I think that's cute because it is, it goes with ladybugs. I like that. So I'm going to do that. And I think I'm going to put a bit, you know, I'm planning it out here. Like you're always going to see the front of this card. But you know what? It's not. Now here's the other thing, you guys. If you just wanted to use like two things like this, then you could also, here, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this for a sample. Should we do it for a sample? Okay. So there's one, and I'm going to do a second one because I'm going to show you how you could actually do one of these. You could stretch, you could print out the pages and really stretch one of these with this many images to give you a lot more than just, you know, your one card. I didn't even think of that. I love when I do something without really a plan and it's better than I thought. Now you could do this. Oh, but you know what? I should have done this one. It'd be funnier. It would be more appropriate if we had black dots, right? Ta-da! So then you wouldn't even have to do all of them. You could do it like that too. Or, now here's the other thing, you guys. You can also, because these have like this kind of this light blue wash behind them, you could also fussy cut these out and not have to, you know, feel like you have to cut exactly right around them, because it makes it kind of like, you know, have you noticed that some things have like a little bit of a glow behind them, so that then that gives you the opportunity to cut and not have to cut so close, more kind of like that sticker cut that you can do. And you can do that and use these for all kinds of things. You could use them like as little images, and these would be fun to also put like on some MemoryDex cards. You wouldn't have to use just the square, so you could put them on like MemoryDex cards, ATC cards, what else, tags, anything that you want, and be able to just cut some of them out. And you could do the same thing here. You could use a little bit of, you know, your background here. Well, you wouldn't even have to use the background, and just cut around so that you've got that on, you know, on your space there. Okay. Maybe I'll put this here, kind of like that. And what else? So I'm calling that like a flower. I don't know. What do you think? You know, if I'm going to use all of them, it doesn't really matter. Okay, now here, okay, I'm ready for more audience participation. I can't even talk. About the glow around the image. Yeah. My goodness, I tell you what. I got all kinds of comments here. I am getting behind. Carol says she has a peony farm near her. Thing by cuttings or plants. That is cool. What a fun thing. Oh, I bet they're beautiful. I've got one that's a really pale pink, and as they bloom out, they almost look white. And then I've got one that's a little bit darker white. Darker white. A darker pink. And then I have one that is kind of a darker, it leans more towards this deep purpley pink color. It's gorgeous. I love it. Sherry says she just printed hers out so she can use them while we're working. Thank you. Thanks, Sherry. And let's see. Dana says she loves daylilies. I do too. The sad thing about them is, you know, they open up for the day and then they're gone. The kind that only bloom until, you know, they're gone. It kind of makes me sad. That's why I like those varieties that are those Stella de Oro. They're the smaller, shorter ones, and then they bloom almost all summer. Okay, Susan says that peonies don't usually bloom the first year. Oh my goodness. Yeah, isn't it funny how a lot of times they take forever? Iris or something else that when you plant them, a lot of times they don't really take off either. My mom had brought me some iris. There was a place near them that grew iris, just like you're talking about the peonies. They grew iris. Oh, well, I was going to ask, what do you guys think? Should I just leave them squares? I don't know. I was kind of thinking about, you know what else you could do with these? I'm going to do this. I hadn't really planned this, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these and I'm going to snip a little bit like this. Because this is not corner rounding. It's kind of the opposite, but look what this will do. If we don't like this, I can swap it out, but let me show you. We're just going to use a little hole punch. And now we've got a different thing. And since this has square corners on everything, that kind of is a little bit of a different look, right? I like it, kind of. Okay. That might remain to be seen, but hey, we don't like to always do the same thing every time, do we? Let's change it up once in a while. Look at that. Hey, that's kind of fun, you guys. Look at that. How many times can I say that? Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Oh, Dana says she has orange and pink ones. All right. Okay, now I forgot. Dana, are you talking about the daylilies? That sounds like daylilies, orange and pink. No. Well, there are. Man, I had planted some when we lived in Minnesota. I had some Asiatic daylilies. Isn't that what they call them? And they were tall. Oh my goodness, they were tall. Okay. Well, this, I tell you what, this is going to take a little while, right? If you were going to punch these like this. And, you know, these are not going to all look exact. It's kind of hard to get those to where they look exact. But that's kind of fun. Let's glue them on. We're never going to get through the card. We don't get going here. I don't know if I can anyway now. But good thing I showed you how to put it together in the beginning, right? Okay. And then what I would do is I would make these, I would figure out which way they open so that then, you know, you can get them facing the right direction. Because when I was numbering what my sample piece that I made, and then I went through and I numbered it because I thought, okay, so how many squares actually show up that you need to put something on? Well, when I did that, then as I went back through, I had one section that the numbers I wrote were upside down. And so I thought, okay, so you need to pay attention when you're, you know, like opening and folding to put it together, which way it's opening so you can see it. A lavender farm. Oh, that would be fun, wouldn't it? Oh, what I started to say was, so my mom brought me you could dig your own iris. And, oh, she had some beautiful ones, and every once in a while they would go up there. Well, sometimes where you could dig and buy them, that was the cheapest way. You'd go out there, and a lot of times they weren't even really blooming where you could see what color you were getting. She drugged some of these all the way from Denver up to Minneapolis for me, and I planted them, and it was years before they ever would bloom. And I don't know, I kind of think maybe where they were, they didn't get quite enough sun. I don't know. Okay, so now we're going to do this. We're going to open it like this. See, they kind of catch, and so you think, okay, it's stuck. It's not really opening right. But just, you know, just be gentle. And so now we've got it like this. So now we can see this is where we need to do our next thing. Now, I can also see right here that these two pieces right here are almost overlapping a little bit, and that could cause me a little bit of trouble. And so, you know, what I might do, but I don't know that it's going to be that bad. Let me see. So it's like this, and then you would fold it like this. I think it's going to be fine, so I'm not going to trim it off. I'm not going to mess with that, and then it'll open. If you started noticing that there were problems with the way it opened, though, I would maybe trim it off a tiny, tiny touch. Okay, so, but this works like this, and it's going to open. It does catch a tiny bit. I'm afraid somebody who was trying to use it would not think that that was how it would open. So I am going to trim just a teeny bit. Just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. And hope that then, you know, if someone not me was opening it, they would not feel like they were doing it wrong. Because what's the point if they aren't going to be able to open it, right? Okay, so now we can put a ladybug. And I don't even know what I did in all of these. I got plenty of them, though, that's for sure. And this is cute. I like that. So we'll just put those there. Anyway, I kept that little group of iris. I watered it and took care of it for several years before it finally bloomed. And when it bloomed, guess what color I got? Tan. Just like... So I told my mom, I go, okay, that finally bloomed, and it's tan. I was so disappointed with all of the beautiful colors of iris, and I love those purpley blue ones, and you know, some of them have some white on them, and I love those. Oh, I was so disappointed. And she goes, I love tan ones. I go, why? She goes, because they go with so many things. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like you're thinking of it like a pair of shoes or something. The tan flowers go with anything. Oh, I couldn't believe it. She just laughed. Oh, you guys. So coming up after me is going to be Lisa with Craft Therapy with Lisa Mudd, and we'll see what she's got for us. I tell you what, doing these corners like this kind of is a little bit time consuming, but you guys, I like it because it's so much different than normal, right? What do you think? A little bit different. We like different sometimes, don't we? Oh my goodness, my comments got stuck. Hey Becky, how are you? I tell you what, I love how everybody shares, you know, ideas and information, and it just makes it so fun. We just have a wealth of knowledge, and when we have people, you know what, I did Mary Kay for a long time, and one of the sayings that Mary Kay Ash had was that, and I can remember my husband ask me one time, why would people want to share that information? Why wouldn't they just keep that to themselves so that, you know, they might do better, you know, basically do better than somebody else in their business, right? Well, trust me, there's enough business. Almost anything that is direct sales, there's plenty of business to go around, right? And so, it made me think. Mary Kay Ash had this saying that was, you know, if you have an idea and I have an idea, we both have one idea. If we share them, we both have two. And I'm just like, and you know, and so it just goes on and on like that. And I think about that often, and I'm like, you know, it is just so true. When everybody shares their ideas and they teach each other different things of how to do things, or, you know what, it makes life more interesting and more special, don't you think? I think so anyway. Yeah, I think the squares like this are fun with the little notched out corners. And you know, look, that's just a cheapy hole punch, you guys. That is not an expensive tool. Not at all. And you can use that same thing, you know, do you ever see the things where it's kind of a ticket punch look? Use the same thing like that. It's just like that. Okay, so now we've got that way, and now we have to figure out which way it folds to open the next direction. Okay, there we go. And let's get us some more bugs and blooms. Oh, this is a cute one. And let's do a little birdhouse. Well, maybe we'll put our 2 ladybugs down here. But a lot of these things have another feature with a little ladybug on the other parts too. You've never seen tan iris. I know, right? I never saw tan iris either till then. You guys, one time I had when we first moved to Minnesota, I could not believe how where we lived, nobody had they just didn't have flower beds. And I'm like, is it just so cold, or what in the world is going on? Well, I later found out when we moved into our house, I found out we lived in it was a preserve. It was kind of a nature preserve thing. And up there's not really a lot of fencing between homes. You know, a lot of you live places where everybody's backyards are all fenced off, and that was not the way it was. In fact, you had to have special permission to have any fencing. Like you either had to have like a pool in your yard, or, you know, daycare, or do daycare or something. Not everybody could have a fence in their backyard where we were. Anyway, I soon found out that it was because either rabbits and squirrels would, you know, take all your flowers or whatever. The deer would come and eat your flowers. So there were, you know, there were a handful of things that they would tend to leave alone. And so that's how, you know, I finally figured out that was kind of what that issue was. Oh, Jeannie, you're fine. She says she was sorry she didn't get here earlier. Oh my goodness, girlfriend, I'd never get anywhere earlier if things started. She's in Pacific time. Our Jeannie from Clifton's Crafty Casa. So she's out there on Pacific time. Okay. I've been sitting here worrying about my granddaughter, why it didn't seem like she was up and on her way to work. And then I realized it's Wednesday. That's a Thursday thing to work at lunchtime. So there would be that answer. Okay. But yeah, the animals would dig stuff up. And so one year I had spent all of this, you know, time. I mean, it wasn't a great expense monetarily, but I had planted, so many bulbs. Just a ton of bulbs. From daylilies and tulips and all kinds of things. I probably got a package of a mix, was probably what it was. So I did that. Now this colored paper has kind of cracked here, and I've got this white, so I would want to probably add a little bit of ink and cover that up at some point. Okay, so now we got to fold it again and figure out which way we need to. What's happened here? Well, I didn't do all of them yet, did I? Why isn't that opening? There we go. Yep, this is kind of catching here too. Yeah, that's why you got to be careful with your well, now did I? Okay, so if we do it like this and fold it, here we've got that one, like this, fold it this way. Uh-oh, did I get one upside down? Oh, well, even if you get it upside down and somebody has to rotate it the other way, it'll still be fun. No, I might have done that. I might have got one mixed up. It can happen, right? It could happen to the best of us. Let's see. Here's a little garden gate. That's kind of cute. And maybe I'll just add in another little phrase. There's enough that you could put a little phrase on everything too if you wanted to. I like wishing you sunny days ahead. Maybe I should put this in honor of our event. How about that? Let's do that. Let's do it. How are we doing on time? Almost. My goodness, I might. You think I'm going to finish it just in time? Oh, that'd be cool. Let me snip quickly. Thanks for hanging out with me today, you guys. It's been fun talking about flowers and gardens and some ladybugs. And I hope you all know how much that you mean to all of us when you come and hang out with us and visit with us, and it just is a lot of fun. And sometimes, I tell you what, some of you, you know, it's kind of funny, a lot of you, I mean, some of you are not just here to observe and learn. Plenty of you could have be up here doing this yourselves. And so sometimes I love it when some of you who are avid crafters yourselves will share crafty tips. It just makes the whole community you know, even more fun and interesting. I never will forget somebody helping me one time, those little you know, when you're using adhesive, like square, like foam squares or foam dots or something, and I was struggling to get the backing things off. And you know, sometimes you'll do something like that and you're just having a day of it, and and somebody in the comments goes, if you take your thumbnail and press it into that, it'll like help it release and it'll come off easier. And I'm like thinking, oh my goodness, you know, I probably at some time knew that, and then I quit using those adhesive things as much and completely forgot about it. But I tell you what, I just think, oh, and she made the rest of my life go a lot easier, I can tell you that. So thank you all for being here and supporting our crafters. And you guys, if you are not watching this morning on the or throughout the day on the Crafty Bunch page, you can watch there and then just simply refresh your browser between people. Okay, you guys, we've got, that should complete our 4 pages, so to speak. So this has been our Flutter and Flourish event, and so now, yeah, now I'm sure I've got one that's upside down, don't I? Well, it's sideways. We got all kinds of ways going on here. There's no telling. Well, twist and turn. I'm going to call it the twist and turn card. How funny. And then this one is, oh, you guys, that is hilarious. I don't know. And, you know, my other one, my little sample one, I was able to do. Okay, this one's not too bad. This one goes the same way. Look at that. I did good on that one. I hope you like this, you guys. And like I said, there is a printable available, and the link to that is in the comments or the description, whichever way that whichever place you're looking at. Okay, I've got to try and let me look real quick for Lisa here and get her into our event. So we'll have our next person. And this should be so much fun today. I can hardly wait to see what everybody is going to be doing today. And she's not on yet. And I tell you what, you know, and you never know what people are going through. I know if you follow Lisa at all, I know that, you know, her family, her husband's got some health things going on. And so, you know, she's been asking for, you know, thoughts and prayers on his behalf. And, you know, it's not just our family member or, you know, our loved ones. I mean, it's everybody who is so concerned, right? Everybody. It affects everybody. Let me see. Okay. Let me see what people are saying here at the end of our time. Oh, hi, Heidi. And I'm sorry, I'll go back and check everything. Check the comments. I think there's a lot more of you here than I had even seen. So I'll go back and say hello and see what's going on. Well, I tell you, sometimes I'm having trouble locating my people, and I don't know why. Okay, I found Lisa. I'm getting ready to share her in, so you guys will be able to just change or refresh your page in the Crafty Bunch, and you'll be able to find her because I got her shared in now. Okay, you guys, I'm going to sign off then. Thanks so much for being here. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Have a wonderful day.